Okay, so the latest episode of House of the Dragon has two subtle things that definitely need to be discussed in more detail. The first of these is the passing of Viserys, and how the book and show give us a clue to how there might be some foul play involved. The second involves Helaenas Prophecy, and the major event that the beast beneath the boards could be referring to. Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking it all down, and as we go through them, I'd love to hear your perspective on whether you agree or not. Now, Viserys' death is a big way to close out episode 8, and I've even seen some comments saying this would have been the perfect way to end the season. It brings a lot with it, and though it seemed like he died of natural causes, there may be something else going on. Now, in order to fully discuss this theory, we have to talk about what the book says. It's important to bear in mind that Fire and Blood is basically a textbook compiled by maesters that pulls in several accounts to try and paint a picture of what happened. Though most say that Viserys died in his sleep during a nap, there were some suspicions that Alicent had poisoned him. This was done to his Hippocras, which in the show is tea, but either way this was basically brought in to help with his health conditions. The show clearly planted a lot of seeds for this to be the case too, and back in episode 6, Laenor said this to Rhaenyra when she suggested leaving King's Landing.
You always said if you were absent from court, she would pour her honey in your father's ear.
Knowing the books, this line really stood out to me, because it sounded like they were giving nods to us conspiracy theorists that something else might be going on. The final picture in the book shows Viserys looking in pretty good health, whereas the show has him rotting away from the inside, almost like he's being poisoned over time. To watch someone wither away like this is extremely strange, and we've never really seen it happen to another character in Game of Thrones history. Viserys was also surrounded by the best maesters in the land, and he would have had a medical team fit for a king that would normally know how to deal with most ailments. However, a slow poisoning is something that they might not be able to handle due to how long it takes. The maesters also change out too, and in the latest episode, we get Orwell due to the death of Melos. This changing of the guard would have likely meant that they couldn't carry across an opinion on him, and thus the High Towers could have kept it under the radar. I'm clearly not the only person who suspects this either, and after passing him his quote-unquote tea, Daemon ends up sniffing it to see if something else is inside. It turns out that this is apparently milk of the poppy, which is being used to help keep him sedated. Milk of the poppy is basically morphine, and it has several side effects. Though it can be used to reduce pain, it also leaves someone unable to think properly. This allows Alicent and Otto to take control of the council, and in the end they use this to their benefit. Now, this drink is also something that Alicent gives to Viserys just before he passes away. Potentially this drink could have slowly been poisoning him over time, and this was the final lethal dose that pushed him over the edge. In these two scenes, Viserys takes the tea, but there is one where he turns it down that could speak volumes to how this was slowly killing him. In the scene where he has his wounds tended to, Otto goes to offer him the drink, but Viserys ends up saying no. Later that day, he regains his strength to the point that he can go to the throne room and climb the iron steps for one final time. He also attends a banquet between the two families. It's only once he has the tea that he ends up dying, and this could have been the thing that pushed him over the edge. The episode also shows us how much Alicent has changed, and that she clearly isn't above using poisons and toxins either. This is demonstrated through her maidservant, who Alicent ends up giving the plenty to in order to stop her from having a child. So she's definitely accustomed to using drinks as a way to get what she wants, and I've even seen comments saying they suspect that she might have poisoned her servant. The show also uses a lot of symbolism to demonstrate its points too, and clearly they place people around the table to hint who the rotten ones are. Due to his eye falling out and his cheek rotting away, Viserys has one side of his face that makes him look like Harvey Dent on a good day. During the banquet, the family sit to his left and right, with Rhaenyra and co being on the good side, whilst the High Towers are on the other. This symbolises that they are the ones causing him to rot away, and that the other side of the family were the ones he favoured the most. It's excellent iconography, and to me it helps to hint towards the fact that they were instrumental in his downfall. They were very much the rats that came for him in the end, and this has been shown in the show at several points. Firstly, there was the one at the wedding that appeared right after he collapsed. Next was another that climbed into his room. Now in the books, Alicent doesn't announce Viserys' death for a week, and this is so she can put things in place to get her son Aegon on the throne. She leaves his corpse in his chambers, and rats start to feed on it, but the idea of this may extend beyond them literally. The rats are now here in the form of the High Towers, most notably Alicent, who gives him that final drink. Though they might not have poisoned him literally, the family clearly had a negative effect on him, and this caused him to rot away even more. Now whether Alicent did it on purpose or not is another thing that I think we'll never get a full answer to. However, there are enough clues there, I think, to make us believe that something else could have been going on, and I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on it. Before we get into Helaena's Prophecy, I'd also really appreciate the thumbs up if you're enjoying the video so far, and don't forget to subscribe for breakdowns like this every day. We've also just launched a Clips channel which drops minute-long short videos discussing Easter eggs, theories, and heavy spoilers highlights. Make sure you hit that up as we're almost at 4,000 subscribers, and we'd love to have you as part of our house. Anyway, Helaena throughout the series has dropped a number of prophecies that have hinted at things coming down the line. The first of these came when she correctly guessed that Aemond would have to lose an eye in order to gain a dragon.
You will have a dragon one day.
He'll have to close an eye.
I know it.
The second came when she foretold the marriage between Rhaenyra and Daemon.
Dragons of flesh, weaving dragons of thread.
And the last episode features a line from her that could bring a lot of things with it.
Beware the beast beneath the boards.
Oh, not my boy.
Now the beast beneath the boards could refer to a number of things. Viserys hits the floor with his staff as she says this, so it could be her warning him of the rats beneath his floorboards. This could either be Alicent or the literal ones that we talked about before, but yeah, there is definitely the potential here that she's referring to him. However, it may extend beyond that, and it could indeed be Aemond. With the next part of the video dealing in future events, I'm gonna have to drop in a spoiler warning, so if you don't want the show ruined, then check out now. Now, when the houses both divided, the sons were sent out to try and gain people loyal to their cause. Both Viserys and Aemond ended up going to Lord Borros, with the latter arriving there first. He ended up promising that he'd wed one of Borros' daughters if the Lord pledged his allegiances to the Greens. Viserys couldn't do the same as he was already betrothed to his cousin, and thus Borros ended up siding with Aemond. Aemond also demanded an eye in return, and he said that he'd let Luke live if he cut out one right there and then. Viserys didn't, and though Aemond went to attack, he was stopped by Lord Borros' men. Borros said that he wouldn't allow any bloodshed under his roof, and thus Aemond followed Luke out and tracked him on his dragon. A storm then broke out, and Aemond ended up killing Luke, which led to him being known as the Kinslayer. So potentially it could be him, however the beast beneath the boards could also refer to Mysaria. We've seen that she has spies and informants in King's Landing, most notably the Queen's right-hand woman. There is potential that the plant tea she prepared didn't actually contain anything, and due to Aegon having two bastards in the book, this might end up coming true if it didn't work. But I digress. Now, Mysaria is known as the White Worm, and she also does something in the book that directly affects Helaena. After Viserys is killed, Daemon promises a son for a son, and he goes to Mysaria for help. She sends two people into the castle, and they use the secret passages in order to sneak into Helena's room. These are the characters Blood and Cheese, and they've basically been told, F them kids. They find her and her children and deliver the ultimatum that one has to live and one has to die. She ends up choosing the younger one, Mela, to be murdered, which is a really heartbreaking moment. However, to make things worse, Blood and Cheese, without a moment's hesitation, end up beheading Jaehaerys instead. It's one of the most horrifying moments in the book that I want to do a full breakdown on at some point, but I think the prophecy could be referring to this. They climb from beneath the floorboards, and the word beast being used for the White Worm does definitely work. After this, Helaena has to deal with the fact that her youngest child knows that she picked them to die, and she also has to grapple with losing her other kid. It's a devastating moment for her that ends up sending her insane. I think this could be referring to this, and if she prophesizes the worst moment of her life at this point, then it would add an even further tragic side to the supper. Personally, that's the one I'm leaning towards, but obviously all these videos are theories, and if you have your own, then make sure you drop them below. We are in a competition right now giving away 3 copies of Thor Love and Thunder on the 15th of October, and all you have to do to be on the chance of winning is make sure you subscribe with notifications on, drop a comment below with your thoughts on the episode, and also best theory wins. Now if you want something else to watch, make sure you check out one of our House of the Dragon breakdowns, which will be linked on screen right now. We've got loads that we've done, we're milking it dry, so yeah, definitely head over there right after this. Out of the way, thanks for sitting through the video, I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.